There you are. I'm glad you came. Sit down, relax, and get ready to create your first Dungeons & Dragons character. Without further ado, let's get started. Choosing your first character might be a bit tricky, especially when you play the first time. Do you want to play as an elf? Maybe a dwarf? Do you want to be a powerful warrior? Or maybe a mighty wizard? As a first-time DM, just ask your players who you want to play, who you want to be, who was your favorite character from books, films, comics, and let's take it from there. I would strongly recommend just to have a conversation. What do your players expect? What do you want to do? What kind of game you want to run as a first-time DM? If you are too busy and, like me, you don't have a time to talk to your players beforehand, you can always roll your characters before a game. Just come a bit earlier and choose your characters. Who want to play as a warrior? Who want to play as a cleric, mage? Have a talk, create your party, create your team, just like in Lord of the Rings. This is how I do it. This is how I always did with my friends. We always come into the game a bit earlier, create our characters, and then play, then get excited about them, about their abilities, about their equipment, what they're gonna do, where they're gonna go. Yeah. Remember my story? Well, this is what I did with my friends when I invited them for the first time game of D&D. That's what we did. That's what they did. They created characters on the spot right there. But it took us over an hour. And I have to admit, I think I would do it differently. I remember fire in their eyes when they first came into the room. They wanted to play, they want to get started. But instead of that, they get a bit overwhelmed with numbers, with abilities, what to add, what to do, what to choose. That's why I want you to learn from my mistakes. And just in case, take a couple characters with you, ready to go, ready to get started. Actually, what you could do is to get the starter pack. Dungeons & Dragons starter pack. Beginning of 2017, this is how much it cost. This is what I found online. You could probably find it cheaper if you dig deep enough in the bowels of the internet. You will find there everything to get started. Copy of the rules, character sheets, set of dice, and even ready to go adventure. Adventure you can use for your players for the first time, for the first go. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty good. So if you already got the starter pack, or you're not really interested with me talking about the starter pack, and you know how to create your characters, to be honest, you can skip this episode right now and get to the next one. I don't want you to waste your time listen to me talking about something you already know, okay? So please do skip this episode. But if you do want to know what I want to say about the characters, about how to create them, or you're just curious, do stay with me, because we are about to create our first character for this game. Okay? Ready? First off, we need the right music. Epic music starts now. If this was a video game, right now I would just press the start the new game button, and you guessed it, I would create the character. We need a name for our character. So I was thinking about something nice, something that I ate yesterday, trifle. I really liked it, it was very good. So I think our character names have to do something with that. It's gonna be nice but deadly, okay? I think his name is Trife. I think it sounds good. So let's open our rules, let's open our character sheet, and let's create this character. And how do you want to do that, someone might ask? Well, you go to the basic rules and you follow the steps they ask you to do. First off, you need to choose your race, then choose your class, and we take it from there. So for the purpose of this video, you're gonna use the recommended stats. The stats that are given for us to use in the books, and they are pretty okay stats, and we're gonna use them. They are right here. you are free to put them wherever you choose to put them, wherever you want. We are planning to make this guy really tough. I'm thinking about fighter, I'm thinking about someone who's going into front, who's going to the fray and doesn't afraid to take a hit. And that's why we're gonna have a high strength and high constitution. If you scroll down over here, you will have a look into our modifiers. These modifiers we apply to the roles and to the actual gameplay. So after we do that, we're gonna choose our race. Our race is a dwarf, and dwarfs, if you scroll down, you will find the special abilities that only dwarfs can have. So they are listed over here, and we are gonna put them on the character sheet, so that later in the game with our dungeon master gonna ask us about something, about, for example, our dark vision. How far can we see in the dark? So we can say, well, it's a 60 feet or 20 meters for all my friends in Europe that do metric system. Now see, as a dungeon master, you wanna know this stuff, and you as a player, you want to have a quick access to this, just so you know that your character, for example, this Strife guy, is a dwarf, and dwarfs have a high resistance to poison and poison damage. And they are good drinkers. If you drink with the dwarf, and alcohol is considered a poison in this game, to some extent obviously, you will have a hard time to get him drunk. That's a pro tip for you right there. Obviously you can roll for your abilities if you choose so. You roll 4d6 and drop the lowest of the dice, and this is the way your dungeon master want to proceed. Then by all means, we're doing this just so it's quicker for the video and it doesn't take all day. So by doing this, we are already learning about our character, about the Strife guy. Our Strife dude have some training. He know how to use weapons. He have some proficiencies. He already knows stuff. He already have. We already have a vague image of this person. Okay, and this is exactly what I was talking about before. When you create your character on spot before game, you know this straight away. You remember this because you just write it down few minutes ago on your character sheet, so you know this, and this, by doing this, you can use it immediately in the game. It's easier to remember. Anyway, let's proceed. We got our abilities, we got our special features of our Strife, our dwarf. So now let's proceed to choose our class. We are choosing fighter, because we need someone in our team who can take a hit, who can stand in front of the enemies and who won't go down easily. So hit dice, how many do we have? We got 1d10. This is how much hit points you have. By starting, you add in your constitution modifier to your maximum hit dice, which is d10. On the first level we're getting 10 maximum from your hit die plus your constitution modifier, so our max hit points is 13. And let's not forget, let's put it on our character sheet, we are a fighter, and fighter is a medieval soldier, and he is trained to use almost every weapon. He's trained to wear armors, he's trained to kill. He's a very efficient warrior, very versatile warrior. And that's what we have to put on our character sheet. On the first level, you can choose the fighting style. So what kind of warrior you are. Do you like to use two weapons? Maybe you want to be an archer. Well, we already mentioned that this is the frontline guy, so he's going first to the fray. He's going to stop enemies. So we're gonna choose the defensive fight style. So he's not gonna be a heavy hitter, but he's gonna survive for very, very long time. We get +1 to AC, our armor class. Armor class tells us how hard it is to kill this guy. Okay, let's leave it at that right now. We're gonna talk about the mechanics and about the roles in the next video, so don't worry about that. As a fighter, you also get a second wind ability. This allows us to catch a breath in the middle of the fight. So if he's gonna take damage, someone's gonna stab him, he have an ability to just power through it, and keep fighting. You probably already seen it sometimes in the films. The main guy gets punched or beaten almost to death, and we all thinking, oh no, he's done. He got stabbed, he got beaten, but somehow he managed to get up, kill the bad guy, save the girl, and just walk away into the sunset. Now every warrior gets to choose his starting equipment. We can choose either A or B option. So our warrior is not necessarily a fast guy. Right, well, he have a 8 dexterity with maximum of 20. None of the abilities can be higher than 20, okay? So with his 8, he's pretty clumsy. We're gonna give him something heavy. We're gonna give him a chainmail. You can either choose a weapon and a shield, or for example, 2 weapons to have 2 attacks. You getting to choose one option, A or B, from your starter pack. This is what all the warriors have in the D&D world. If you don't have it, other warriors make fun of you, and you are the pushover. So you don't want to be a pushover. Trife is a tough guy, okay? Don't forget, please don't make fun of him. Now, proficiency bonus. If our character is proficient with something, you get to add this bonus. And once you level up, once you become better at what you do, you get to add higher number. With levels, you get to increase hit points, you're gaining new skills. Talking about skills and proficiencies, if you look over here, you have everything you need to know about it. So things that you are proficient with. So for example, if you're playing as a wizard and you're trying to use a heavy weapon that you don't really know how to use, you're not really good at heavy weapons, for example like a axe, it doesn't mean you won't be able to use it. Obviously you can do it, you can do everything, but you won't get this proficiency bonus added to your role. And that's it, you can do everything. This is not a video game, you won't get a message on your screen saying, sorry, you can't use this, sorry, you can't do that, blah blah blah. No, this is D&D, and only your imagination can stop you from doing stuff. Before we carry on, let's sort out our equipment, let's put everything in order. All the necessary information are in the PDF, in the basic rule PDF that we downloaded, that we read, that we're talking about throughout this episode. If you still don't know what I'm referring to, well, I put a link in the description, okay? Right, now, I'm putting some stuff, right? And you're probably wondering, well, how is he do it? Right, our chance to hit, how do we hit things? Because I'm putting the description of the weapon, right? So our chance to hit something, how do we know? We are adding our bonus modifier from our ability, for example, strength, and we add in our proficiency bonus. So 3 plus 2 is 5. And by rolling d20 and adding that 5, we need to beat armor class of our enemy. As you can see, our armor class of Trife is 19. That's pretty massive. I just wanna put it out there. It's pretty hard to kill this guy, and he's only level 1. He's only getting started, so just be wary. So Trife also have a Dungeoneering pack, and this is what's inside. So we're gonna just put it on our character sheet so we don't have to look for it later on when our dungeon master asks us, so what do you want to do? What do you have in your backpack? Well, then you can tell him what do you have. I almost forgot about this, about almost the most important thing that makes our character, our background. So who was he? Who was Trife before he became the fighter that we all know? So I reckon that soldier, the background. You can just choose it, you don't have to roll for it, you can choose it, you as a player, you can choose it to be whoever you wish him to be. So Trife's gonna be a soldier, he used to be a military, and we gonna put stuff that determine who he is. We can roll for it, or we can just choose it from his background. This is how we know how to role play him, how to play this role, how to play Trife. Also, a background gains us another set of proficiencies. So by being a soldier, he'll learn stuff. Trife is a quite simple person. He faces their problems heads on. He probably doesn't like when you disagree with him, and he will never forget the crushing defeat. Something happened with his past that changed him, and the best part is you get to choose what was it. So for example, with Trife, let's say he was a scout, he was doing a scouting mission, and he encountered something. Him and his friends, him and other soldiers from his patrol encounter something deadly, something vicious. Let's say werewolf, and that werewolf killed everybody except Trife, because Trife, like a little coward, ran away and left his friends to die. That's why he will never leave the friends behind, he will never retreat from the fight, and probably he's afraid of dogs and wolves and everything that have 4 legs. So this will be funny. So now the only thing that's left, it's our skills. We're gonna choose our proficiencies. We got 2. We get to choose 2 from our class, which is warrior, and we get 2 from our background. So this is the things that Trife knows, that he can tell you about. This is how the things that he does well. He's strong, he knows when people try to bullshit him, he knows how to intimidate people, and he's pretty perceptive. Each skill corresponds with the ability. So for example, Arcana correspond with intelligence, and so on and so on. So if you're not proficient with something, you will just get the flat modifier from your ability. Which, to be honest, makes perfect sense, because Trife, he's a simple person, he doesn't know things about spells, he doesn't know stuff about arcanas, no. But he knows how to hit things hard, he knows when people lying to him, and he's pretty perceptive guy. So all it's left to be done now, it's maybe add some details, make sure we haven't made any mistakes. We can put 1 die in what he died, but I always leave a space, because when I want to print it later, I can just write it down with my pencil. It's easier to change it later when I'm gonna level him up later. So yes, I think we put everything there. Yeah, so we decided that Trife was a scout, maybe an infantry soldier, so we're gonna put that in our background, and all that's left is just to maybe write a few details, maybe add something in the back of the card, a history, that werewolf story that I've mentioned before, and I think that's it. It was pretty hectic, it was long, and I hope you learned something today. If you didn't, I just wasted your time. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. To be fair, I did told you to skip it and go straight to the next one. In next episode, we're gonna talk about the mechanics, we're gonna talk about how to roll, how to hit things, how to make checks, and maybe create another character. Quickly just go through it rapidly, because we learned the basics, we know the stuff now. So we're gonna quickly create a magic user, because using magic in D&D can be a bit tricky. Sometimes some people maybe get a bit confused with the spell slots, with the magics, how often can you use it, when can you recover, stuff like that. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Take care.